What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, hummingbird? Well, the word is Nene Leakes from the Real Housewives of Atlanta fame has filed a lawsuit against her former employers, that being Bravo, NBC Universal, True Entertainment, Truly Original, and Andy Cohen, claiming that they had ignored her complaints of years of racist remarks made by Kim Zolciak-Biermann towards her and Kandi Burruss. TMZ reports that Nene has filed a lawsuit in Atlanta suing the producers, the executives over there at Bravo, because they tolerated a toxic work environment that was rife with racism. She claims that Kim also used the N word in reference to her and other black cast members. Also, she claims that the executives tried to silence her support of Black Lives Matter, keeping her away from scenes where other cast members discussed Black Lives Matter. The basis of her lawsuit is that they violated federal employment and anti-discrimination laws, and she's suing everybody over there at Bravo except for the one person who she blames for the racial attack. That is Kim Zolciak. She's not suing her. She's not including her in the lawsuit. And I'm pretty sure when the question is asked of Nene, well, why didn't you include Kim in your lawsuit? Since she's the one that was, verbally attacking you, she was the one that was verbalizing these racist remarks. I'm pretty sure Nene's response is going to be because she's broke. She's going to say something about Kim being broke, so why include her in the lawsuit? She's not going to get any money from her. But I feel like Nene is just upset that she never got a spinoff. She's upset that she wasn't asked to come back to the show. And I don't understand why she would be upset, because just about every season that Nene has been in, she's been very difficult to work with. She's very entertaining for us. She makes great television, but I get the sense that behind the scenes, she's a little bit hard to work with. And also, it did get a little bit frustrating at the end when you could tell that Nene, her last couple of seasons on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Nene just, you could tell that she was over it. She acted like she was above all of this. She acted like she didn't need this. And especially during the reunions, when she was just so flippant about everything. When people would try to call her out on anything, her only response would be, okay, if that's what you think, okay, I agree with you. Okay, that's fine. If you think I'm this and you think I'm that, okay, that's fine. That's cool. That's okay. And it got frustrating because you want to see dialogue at the reunions. You want to see conversations at the reunion. You want people to stand up for themselves, or you want people to call out others, or you want to see like a verbal interaction. You don't want someone, when they're called out on something, just to be like, okay, if that's what you think, that's fine, girl. Okay, that's fine. Okay, whatever, fine. You don't want to see that. It's boring. It makes her look extremely immature. She acted like a tired baby. When a baby gets really, really tired and they get really, really cranky and they're just not fun anymore. That's how Nene would act at these reunions. And like the past few reunions, she always showed up. She definitely showed up. And she just always acted like she was just, above all of this. Even though we were fans of the show, and a lot of the times, unfortunately, the reunion is like the best part of the whole entire season, because the season sometimes it just kind of drag and drag and drag, and you'll have, little bits of excitement, little bits of entertainment, but then everything all comes together real nicely at the reunions. And so, she completely checked out of the reunions. She checked out the last few seasons that she was on the show. She wasn't fun anymore. You know what I mean? She just wasn't exciting. She wasn't entertaining to watch anymore. So they didn't want her to come back. She left the show. They didn't want her to come back. What do you want them to do? You were difficult to work with. You voluntarily left the show. what would you have wanted them to do? Now, if she was upset about not getting a spinoff, now that's something that I don't really understand. I don't know if by the time that the other ladies on the show were getting spinoffs, she had already kind of like soured the relationship between her and Bravo and between her and Andy. I don't know if that's the reason why they didn't give her a spinoff, but it did seem, it was very obvious that if anyone deserved a spinoff, it probably would have been Nene. But they were giving spinoffs like the way that people give away candy for Halloween, but she never got hers. So I'm just gonna assume that it was because by that time, maybe they did have her in mind in the very beginning, like, yeah, we need to give her a spinoff. But she had already, checked out of her relationship with Bravo and Andy and all of them over there, and they're like, well, they just passed her over and went on to the next. So the funny thing is, she didn't include Kim. And she was so buddy buddy, chummy chummy with Kim that it's like exactly at what point was Kim saying these racial remarks, because their relationship was on again, off again, on again, off again. So was this when you were completely done with her, when she was making these remarks that lasted years and years and years? Or did she make these racial remarks, you ignored it, became friends with her again? I mean, like, exactly when did this happen? I want to know the timeline of when these racial remarks were made in comparison to when they were like buddy buddy, BFFs. Do I think that Kim Zolciak had said racial slurs to to Nene or to Candy? I have no idea. I have no, nothing surprises me anymore. Absolutely nothing. She could have just, and then using the N, I'm just, wow. I don't think that if she would have used the N word, the way these women are, the way that they're so, vocal, they speak their mind, they stand their grounds, they confront people. I just don't see how they would have let it go if Kim Zolciak said the N word and they took it to the executives and nothing was happening. I don't see them being quiet. I don't see people like Candy, because Nene alleges that Kim Zolciak also referred to Candy. She used the N word also in reference to Candy. And if Candy knew about it, I don't think that Candy would have kept quiet. And if they did ignore Candy's complaints, I don't think Candy would have let it go at all. Because, Candy and Kim also kind of have, a contentious relationship over that whole Tardy for the Party song. So if Kim Zolciak had referred to Candy as the N-word or called her the N-word in her face, if she called her the N-word in her face, I think Kim Zolciak would have been in the hospital. So if she had referred to Candy as the N-word and Candy knew about it and she took it to the higher ups and they ignored her, there's no way that Candy would have let that go, because Candy does not need this show. Everybody talks about how Candy is so accomplished. She's the richest housewife on that franchise. Candy's got it going on financially. She's got 1,000 different businesses going on. She's got 1,000 different streams of income and all of that. I don't think Candy would have been like, oh, I'm not going to say anything because I really need this job. I don't think Candy would have been like that at all. And I don't think Nene would have been like that at all. So if they were bringing their complaints about Kim to the higher ups and they're being ignored, they would have gone to the media. They would have hired attorneys. They would have battled it out in court. They would have gone on social media. This would not have been kept. There's no way this would have been kept a secret for years. There's just absolutely no way that they would have let Kim Zolciak, of all people, get away with making racial remarks, racial slurs towards this all black cast. There's no way. I don't believe it. I don't think so. I don't think they would have. How long has it been now that Nene's been off? About 2 seasons now, maybe going on 3 years or something that she's been off the Housewives. There's no way she would have let it go this long. I think that Nene is upset about not being asked to come back. I think Nene's upset about not getting a spinoff like everybody else got a spinoff. And I think Nene's upset about probably just still dealing with the trauma of losing Greg. Maybe that's also kind of affecting how she's handling her life now. And it's funny that, she includes Candy. And I'm like, is Candy going to actively be a part of this lawsuit? Like, is she also going to come out with allegations against Kim? Or is Candy using this and allowed her name to be included in this lawsuit because she still has unresolved issues with Kim over that Tardy for the Party song and not being paid fully or not being paid fairly for that song? So yeah, this is really interesting. I have a feeling it's kind of probably just died down, and I don't think they're gonna either. I don't even think Bravo's even gonna bother to settle with her. You know how a lot of corporations, they'll just settle just to keep bad press. At bay. I don't think they're going to be doing that. I think either they're going to fight this tooth and nail, or Nene's just going to end up giving up or something. I just don't really see them paying her for this, but because I just don't think that if this was going on, I don't think Nene would have let it die down, and I don't think she would have waited this long to file a lawsuit. If this is stuff that was going on while she was on the show with Kim, because how many years ago was that? Kim left quite a few years ago. Nene stayed for a while, and then Nene left, and now she's been gone about 2 or 3 years. So you're telling me that during the time that her and Kim were on this show together, Kim was making racial remarks against her and Candy, and she's not filing a lawsuit until now, which could easily be at least 5, maybe 6, 7, I don't know, maybe 10 years later. Now she's filing a lawsuit? I just don't think so. I don't think so at all. And then the whole thing about Black Lives Matter. So she says that she was, that the producers purposely kept her out of discussions of Black Lives Matter. So when other cast members would talk about BLM, for whatever reason or however they did it, they would keep Nene away from those scenes and wouldn't allow her to participate in those scenes. Why? Why not? If everyone else is talking about it, why couldn't she talk about it? Nene, explain to us why do you think the producers didn't let you participate in BLM discussions on the show? And what else did she say about BLM? And they tried to silence her support of BLM. Like, how can they do that? Like, why would they silence you but not Portia and not anyone else? I mean, Portia was deep in it. She was out there protesting, getting arrested. She was deep in it. Some people called it activism. Some people called it activism. So why would they single you out, Nene, but not Portia? Like, I don't understand. Nene, we need more explanation, and we don't want to have to wait until you're deep in your trial or deep in your lawsuit before we find out what's really going on. I need to know now what you're trying to say. And yeah, so that's all I had to say about that. I think that was very interesting. I think it's very interesting that Candy Burris is also included in this lawsuit, because I would love to hear what Candy had to say about this. I don't want to say that I don't believe Nene that these things happen, because if they did happen, then she truly is a victim of racism, and I don't want to blame or blame the victim in this. And it's absolutely it's just unthinkable that they would allow this, because they made so much money. Bravo, NBC Universal, all of these executives, Andy Cole, they made so much money off of this specific franchise, The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And if she brought her concerns to them and they ignored her, and she had proof of this happening, that is crazy and sad. And just unthinkable that y'all would make a lot of money off of these black women, but then when they came to you with racial concerns, y'all ignored her. That would be horrible if that's what really went down. If, the court of law determines that that's what happened, that would be they would, all the money that they made, if they end up losing this case or even settling, all the money they made from this show, they need to divide it out amongst all the black cast. If what Nene is saying is actually true. But anyways, I've gone on too long. Thank you so much for joining me and for listening to me rant about this. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. And if you like what you saw, please don't forget to subscribe. And I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.